The Bible says, "He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor." Proverbs chapter 28, verse number 8. "He that putteth not out his money, nor taketh reward against the innocent, he that doeth these things shall never be moved." Psalms chapter 15, verse number 5. The Bible also says, "Woe to me, my mother, that thou hast borne me, a man of strife and a man of contention to the whole earth. I have neither lent on usury, nor men have lent to me on usury, yet every one of them doth curse me." Jeremiah chapter 15, verse number 10. "He that hath not given forth upon usury, neither hath taken any increase, that hath withdrawn his hand from iniquity, hath executed true judgment between man and man." Ezekiel chapter 18, verse number 8. We are living in a world which is unfair and unjust. Political and social exploitation are very commonly understood, but the economic abuse is rarely comprehended. Economy is 2/3 of the life, everything else combined is the rest, just like the proportion of water in our bodies. The behavior of individuals to the collective behavior of nations depends upon its economic strength. The sovereignty of the nations is dependent on its economy. It would not be inappropriate to say that the modern-day slavery is economic slavery. Economic injustice and exploitation in today's economy is more perverse than any time in the past. The pervasive role of interest in economic system results in systematic transfer of money from those who have less to those who have more. Again, this transfer of resources from poor to rich has been made shockingly clear by the Third World Debt Crisis. James Robertson. The richest 225 people of the world own more wealth than the poorest 2.5 billion. The interest-stung society is one in which one side is swollen with wealth while the other is anemic with poverty. When the borrower incurs loss, the borrower will not only bear the whole loss of the business, but he will also have to pay interest to the lender, meaning thereby that the profit of the interest of the financier is guaranteed at the price of the destructive loss of the borrower, which is obviously a glaring injustice. The people who spend their time, energy, capacity, and resources, and whose effort and skill make a business thrive, are not guaranteed profit at any fixed rate, whereas those who merely lend out their funds are fully secured against all risks of losses and are guaranteed profit at a fixed rate. When the borrower gets windfall profit, the major portion of profit is kept by the borrower, while the financier gets much less than deserved by his input in the business, which is another form of injustice.
Top 5% people having 80% of the total wealth, and the bottom 20% people having only 10% of the total wealth. This lopsided distribution inside a country, add to it that you have in this world countries who are very, very rich. Their standard of living is very high. And at the same time, countries in Africa and South Asia, which are very, very poor, their standard of living is such they cannot have good clothing, they cannot have enough to eat, they cannot have medicine. So when this goes on, something erupts, boils up. Peace is disturbed.
No business is risk-free, but doing business on interest loan compounds the risk, since it binds the businessman to pay interest at a fixed rate whether or not the businessman has made profit.
In the normal banking system, when the lenders are enjoying their days, we have to work 24/7. They will snore, we will work. Whereas in our case, when we sleep, we snore because there is nothing ticking 24/7.
The one who takes interest from the income of the other without incurring any risk, his capital is not only secured, but it continues to grow, while often the profit made through a loan is lost in the longer run in paying interest. Islam has prohibited interest due to many reasons. One reason being injustice. If there was loss, it was the entrepreneur or the trader who had to bear the entire loss in spite of trouble he took. The bank, which did nothing more than providing money, got predetermined positive rate of return. Islam therefore tries to remove the injustice resulting from this.
Love of money as an end, not a means, is at the root of the world's economic problem. John Maynard Keynes, British economist. In this present interest-based banking system, the borrower becomes the lender's slave. It is impossible for any country's economy to be successful without giving equality and justice to its citizens. The rich rule over the poor is an age-long fact. The borrower is the servant to the lender, as the system used by the lender is an insidious system of interest. The children were inconsolable. Mute with shock and fighting back tears, they huddled beside their mother as friends and neighbors prepared their father's body for a cremation on a blazing bonfire built on the cracked, barren fields near their home. They had hopes that their sons and daughters would have had a better life under India's economic boom. They now face working as slave labor for a few pence a day. Landless and homeless, they will be the lowest of the low. This is the story of hundreds and thousands of farmers who were loving husbands and caring fathers who had been forced to take their own life. Facing the loss of his land due to debt, they drank a cupful of chemical insecticide or have hung themselves. Unable to pay back the equivalent of 2 years' earnings, they were in despair. They could see no way out, but they couldn't take any more. The mental anguish was too much. They had lost everything. 46 farmers commit suicide every day in India as they were unable to pay their debts. Farmers' suicide constituted 14.4% of the total 122,637 suicides in India in 2007. The National Crime Records Bureau said in its latest report, the Accidental Deaths and Suicide Report 2007. In 2006, the figures were 17,060, and since 1997, there were 1,82,936 cases of farmer suicide in the country.